Having kids with special needs is a very isolating process.
I acknowledge the brokenness, but from there, I can't do anything.
Not all churches are made for people experiencing disability, and really had us rethinking and reimagining, local church and what that looked like for our family.
We had Alistair in May of 2015, and before we knew it, Alistair was being life flighted to Little Rock. He had genetic testing that did confirm he had Williams syndrome.
When we first heard the diagnosis of Williams syndrome, you don't know what that entails. Not only did we have a baby that was about to have open heart surgery, but we had a whole future that we had to think through.
We had Asher and Abel. They came a little early too. Then we went and we got evaluated, and then their autism diagnosis came. We went from having one child with special needs to now having 3. Just scary and hard.
Paxton was diagnosed with a genetic condition when he was about 10 months old. It presents as low tone and just kind of overall developmental delays.
We were at a great church, but it wasn't really conducive for him to learn in a way that he could understand. And so once we started to realize that he had capacity to possibly know the Lord and really understand what salvation was, we decided we needed to be somewhere that maybe would be better suited for that. And
For starters, I have a seizure disorder. On a much lesser note, I have just simple tremors. I'm not the best at picking up at, unspoken social cues. That's a big one. Was definitely the biggest reason as to why I, at least initially, didn't mesh with, my cell group. In general, I just like making friends.
We've been going to fellowship since 2015. Michael was able to attend basically all functions. I remember him going to the fall retreats, the winter retreats. That was just really important to us because we wanted him to have a community that was of his peers and know that Michael was being taken care of, he was watched over, he was loved.
We heard about fellowship and I connected. It was so neat because they have a ministry for our kiddos and they get paired up with a buddy, and we were just greeted with teachers who said, "My heart is for your kids."
Paxton goes to regular student ministry in 6th grade, and he's with his friends, and which is great. And he's with boys that are in our community. To be seen and known at church, and then to see these people outside of church at his school who see and know him is a big deal for us and a big deal for him. He understands prayer, and he understands accountability, and he understands the importance of being in community and in a body at church every week.
It's been really a big blessing to our life, to the point that we don't have to worry about church. We don't have to sacrifice for one of us to go hang out with Paxton at church, which is hard to continue our own faith growth. It also allows us to just have a comfort level of Paxton wanting to go to church and enjoying church, and frankly being upset if we have something going on that we are not able to go to church that week.
To go into a place and an environment where they're welcomed and they're open arms, and we want you guys here, and we want to minister to you guys, it's just unique, and we're thankful for that as a family. There's a togetherness, there's arms locking arm in arm to kind of move forward together.
Recently, I have been doing the tech booth in a 34. That's been really fun. I've been doing the sound in there.
So both my wife and I have volunteered over the years as well. We like to give back. I want the parents to feel like their kids are well cared for and loved, and as well as taught about Jesus, right? It's what we all want, right? We want to learn more about Jesus, want to be closer to Jesus.
Our hope for the church at large is that it would just be a place where everyone feels welcome and seen, and that accommodations aren't a hassle. They're just part of bringing people into the church body so that they can know and be seen by other people in our church body. The church is just a better place when we have people that are different than us in our midst. And if we're not looking out into our body and seeing these people, we need to ask ourselves, why and where are they, and are we creating a space for them to be included?
You walk through the halls and there's lots of families going through something very similar. It may not be autism or Williams syndrome, but walkers and braces and just kids that have all sorts of needs. And I really feel like it's a place where like heaven meets earth.